Yes.
Yes,
Bogdanov, he did it.
il bort,
He went all in.
dump it.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Sunday. Welcome back to the channel. I do hope you are having a great weekend. We have had a little bit of a crazy 24 hours for Bitcoin. I mean, we're only down 2.8% at the time of making this video. We did get hit a lot harder. You could see we were pushing up at around the $9,188 level. We could not make it to 9.2K. We did get that rejection. We are currently below the 200 daily moving average, and we did get down to 8,452. Since then, we have had a nice little bounce back. Now, for everybody getting excited with the over 9,000 memes, let's just hold off on that for just a second. Let's get confirmation. Let's close the candle, okay? But for everybody freaking out, there were some people like, oh my God, Bitcoin is dumping. I do understand there's a lot of new people in the crypto space, but these types of moves, they happen all the time, and you have to be prepared for, those 10%, 20%, or, what are you going to do when those 30% dips happen, in the bull run? Buy the dip. That's right. Not financial advice. But that being said, guys, I do have a few other things I want to go over. I want to talk about why Bitcoin dumped specifically, like what actually triggered the dump itself. I want to talk about where we're heading. Obviously, altcoins were doing quite well. Now you're seeing them kind of get hit even harder than Bitcoin once Bitcoin falls. Brad Sherman had something interesting to say. And I want to talk about the hilarious Peter Schiff tweet that's going around the internet. And if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. And if you are not subscribed, you need to get subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel. And don't forget that we do give away a ledger every single Monday, which means that today is your last day. If you're interested, drop a comment and you are eligible for the giveaway. Now, let's have a look at the market. Let's give this a quick refresh. So Bitcoin dominance is going back up again, and you can see a lot of the altcoins. You can see Bitcoin down 2.7, but Ethereum down 5, XRP 4, Bitcoin Cash 3, Bitcoin SV chugging along here at 0.84%. Not sure what's up with that, but you can see that even though the altcoins sometimes can rally more than Bitcoin, they can also get hit harder than Bitcoin as well. Do we have anything up today? DX, Chain, Theta? Not too many, really. So that being said, guys, we did see a pretty good amount of volume for the weekend. We're still over the billion. I will take that, but we did have this fall. So let's talk about it. What caused it? Why did it happen? Well, first of all, guys, we have been talking about the significance of the 200 daily moving average on this channel for the past week now. It is very crucial. You could see the significance of it. Look at how it acted as resistance back here. Look, we had this rejection right here, this rejection right here. Then once we got above it, we had some nice support right here, some nice support right here, but then when we fell, my goodness, did we take a plummet. You could see the significance of this line. And look at right here, guys, it is currently acting as a bit of resistance right now. Now, keep in mind, yes, we did wick, but we really need that solid candle close. Now, is it possible to close above that by the end of the day? Sure. It's only the beginning of the day. It's very possible that Bitcoin could go the other way. Now, essentially what triggered it really wasn't anything too crazy, guys. It was essentially just a massive whale sell. You could see right here, $101.74 million worth of volume in just that, move alone, and it was triggered by a whale. So you know how that cascade effect can happen, and then all the other stops get hit, etc. Not uncommon in Bitcoin. In fact, look, it's really just our good old buddy Bart Simpson showing up again. So that being said, you can see we are still out of the descending wedge. I will take that as a good short-term signal. Also, something pretty incredible about the charts is that Bitcoin is kind of supporting this bullish trend line, two different trend lines. Check this out. This is really cool. So we do have this dotted line down here. Now, this is not as strong of the support, but you can see, look at all these wicks that we had down here where we touched, right? And then we had a little bit of support right here before we fell. And then over here, we actually wicked all the way down to it. But even crazier than that, let me actually switch, let me switch colors just so that you guys can see what I'm talking about here. The most important is this green line. And look at this. So we had this bottom touch down here right before the China pump. We wicked up to it once right here, twice right here. And now currently we are sitting exactly on it for the support. So the fact that Bitcoin is actually using these as supports and still having that slow climb climb upwards is showing me that the bulls are back and that there's a lot of weak hands that could be out of the market. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. I will talk about that. Essentially, you can see right here, we broke out of this wedge. We were forming this other wedge that sort of turned into a more giant triangle situation. We got above it. But look, once again, where we fell right here was essentially where we had the previous resistance before the breakout into the support. So that is things that you want to look at. And here is the pretty interesting thing. So we do know that there is a CME futures gap. I know it's a meme. A lot of people, they don't care about it, but inevitably this damn gap always tends to get filled. And currently we have a gap sitting at 8,925, which means the gap is up there. So there's a good chance that when the markets open, we will attempt to fill this gap. Now, it's not guaranteed that that's what happens, but I mean, we have a lot of historical evidence that gaps do tend to get filled, and you can see that we are actually currently Bitcoin is sitting at around the 8,635 level, which crazy enough is the 200 daily moving average on CME futures. So you really can't make that stuff up. Currently, we are still above the 21 exponential on the weekly. I will take it. And if you guys had a chance to watch this video with Alessio Rastani and Peter Brandt, he agrees that the weak hands are out. He says they all now want to sit and buy a break back to 6,000 or 5,000. They've missed the bottom. And during that bottom, I think you had a lot of people accumulate with strong hands. And I know if any of you were watching the channel, we were all accumulating at these amazing levels. He says the weak hands are out. The strong hands own it, meaning Bitcoin, right? And you can see right here, we're still in this upward trajectory. Yes, we kind of have started to have this bit of a parabolic run. So could we, sort of come down to the means, to the average, get back on this level? Absolutely. That would be totally healthy. You don't want a straight line. That's never healthy for any asset, right? But I do want to give a shout out to Philb because he put out this amazing, I've been looking at this 12-month forecast that he had from a while ago. And looking at this, you could see that essentially right around, if we look at where the halving is next year, which should be sometime in May, mid-May, right? He's looking at a potential $16,000 to $18,000 Bitcoin. Now, I know that this is just a prediction, but if I actually click this play button and we play it through, wow, guys, that's incredibly accurate. So, on this channel, I do like to give credit. There's a lot of other channels that they won't give credit to other people. I'm a community channel, guys. I mean, if you got good TA and you make a good call, well, I'm going to share it. And damn, Phil, you really called it, buddy. So yeah, we could potentially be looking for a $16,000 to $18,000 Bitcoin, potentially by the halving. And yeah, we could break the 20K Bitcoin this year. So let me know what you guys think about that. We are very close. This is our halving chart we're looking at, but I'm curious. Let me know what you're doing. What are you doing right now? Are you guys buying altcoins? Are you guys holding Bitcoin? Are you selling Bitcoin for altcoins? Are you sitting in fiat? Are you sitting in a stable coin? What is your strategy right now? I'm just curious. Me personally, I'm just trying to accumulate as much as possible before this next massive blast off because I know hey, I'm a bull, guys, but you do have to be realistic, but I am pretty excited about that. But I do want to say, if you guys are trading altcoins, friendly reminder, if you want to use 3 commas, I did mention it the other day, they're not sponsoring the channel or anything like that. I do get like a small commission if you use my link. It's really not that much. I'm just trying to help you guys out. If you want, you can use my link and you get a 10% discount off whatever package you choose, okay? So basically that is the situation. But guys, Peter Schiff, I gotta mention this. So he puts out this tweet. This is an hour ago from when I had it actually loaded. He goes, I just lost all my Bitcoin I've ever owned. My wallet got corrupted somehow and my password is no longer valid. So now not only is my Bitcoin intrinsically worthless, it has no market value either. I knew owning Bitcoin was a bad idea. I just never realized it was this bad. Peter, you probably lost your password, but let me I did tweet about this and I said, this is really stooping to a new low. So basically all your other fear-mongering tactics, they haven't worked, essentially. So now you have to resort to this. But you know what I think the most important thing to take away from this, even if this is true, let's assume that Peter's telling the truth, which I don't think he is, but if he is, not your keys, not your coins, get your crypto off the exchanges, guys. I mean, I can't stress this enough. If you guys haven't checked out my tutorial on Ledger, how to use this, I will drop it above for you. But, if you guys, have checked out my my channel, I basically retweet, or my Twitter, I retweeted this as well. I mean, I said, just a friendly reminder, this is Peter Schiff back in June 2011 telling everybody that they should buy gold instead of Bitcoin. And I don't think that it takes a genius to see what the better purchase and investment has been over the long period of time. So that being said, that's enough. Let's get back onto the news today. So a report from CoinShares, which is a digital asset management firm, suggests that an enormous transfer of wealth is about to hit Bitcoin. So according to them, around 68.4 trillion in wealth is currently owned by boomers, which will be handed down to the millennials. $1 trillion tsunami is about to hit Bitcoin, and it's due to the difference in millennial spending and investment patterns. And I know what you're saying, like, oh, why are you, all millennials are just going to get involved in crypto? Obviously not all of them, but I really think if you guys haven't watched this $10 million Bitcoin endgame video by Token Vision, one of my favorite crypto videos literally on the internet to date, you need to check it out. I will drop it below. And in this section, Tom Lee essentially goes into, millennials, and they're getting into that time where now they're looking for investments. And I mean, the stock markets are at an all-time high, right? Do you want to buy the top? And I mean, yes, okay, so it could keep going up theoretically in fiat value, but with everything going on with the repo markets and the Fed injecting all this money, do you really trust this? I mean, what's really holding this house of cards? You know what I'm saying? So I do believe that, yes, it is potentially possible that the stock market will continue to increase fiat, but I believe that things like precious metals, see, I can say precious metals, and Bitcoin will continue to outpace things, like some of these stocks. Not all of them, but I would say the most of them. So just my opinion, guys. You do what you want. Let me know about that moving forward. But you could see a lot of people out there. They saw the altcoin pump. Now everyone's getting excited about altcoins. You're seeing more posts like this, thinking about dumping all of my Bitcoin into ETH and Ethereum Classic. Is this a good idea? I'm not too sure about the Ethereum Classic one. I would own a little bit of Ethereum. I do, I like Ethereum. I like what they're doing. But would I sell all of my Bitcoin? Well, it reminds me a lot of pretty much how it felt when, we had that 2017 run up and everyone was saying like, oh, screw Bitcoin. I want to get into the altcoins. Now, granted, the altcoins were doing very well. They were doing great. But keep in mind, once the top hit, the altcoins lost a lot of value faster. They only pumped like 1 month, like Bitcoin in December pumped, then it pulled back. Then in January, the altcoins had their rally. But then when the altcoins started to lose their value, they tanked a lot harder than Bitcoin. And in the long run, it would have made more sense to hold Bitcoin. Now, if you're a good trader and you like to trade and you can time these tops and bottoms, then by all means, hold the altcoins, go for it. But just remember, we've seen some really crazy altcoin moves this year, and it could be very scary. But, the altcoins start to move a little bit, and you start seeing things like this. Will XRP be able to hit $692 in 2020? Guys, think about that. $692 in 2020. Like, okay, I'm going to be as realistic as possible here. Could XRP hit $1? It could. I think it absolutely could. Could it hit $2, $3? I think it absolutely could. $4, sure. $692? Do you understand for one XRP to be worth $692? I think it would have to have a market cap of over 30 trillion. Just to put that into perspective, not only would it obliterate the Bitcoin market cap, but it would also be higher than Apple stock. Now, I'm not bashing XRP, but I'm just saying it's predictions like this that make the markets irrational. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy, guys. So, I mean, I'm not bashing XRP, but I think that there's like just a little bit over exuberance. I mean, even this, Bitcoin will reach 400,000 after the halving. I mean, I don't think at some point it won't reach 400K. I definitely think it will. But right after the halving, so just be careful with some of these hype. The price starts to move a little bit. People get extremely exuberant. For example, everything that was happening with the Bitcoin SV pump. Well, we obviously know Craig Wright isn't Satoshi. Was anybody actually surprised about the fact that he didn't have the keys? Well, it drops 40%. Okay, as the news came out. So just be careful with these coins that you guys are investing in. But getting back to sort of Bitcoin and, crypto in general, I do want to talk about what Digital Assets Data said. Now, they've mentioned the fact that 10.7 million Bitcoin, worth over $97 billion, have remained stagnant over the past year. Now, keep in mind, that's over 60% of the entire Bitcoin in circulation. Now, I do know that there's some Bitcoin that's lost forever, estimated 4 million, right? Back in the day when people were just throwing their laptops out because they didn't think Bitcoin was worth anything. We do know Satoshi has his. We do know Craig Wright does not have Satoshis. We just talked about that previously, but you could see it's the highest level of untouched Bitcoin since the end of 2017 when the entire crypto market surged. So why am I bringing this up? I know that a lot of people say we should spend Bitcoin. We should spend Bitcoin. That's how we're going to create, we're going to build this ecosystem. I'm not saying that's not a bad approach, but I do personally think that Bitcoin is an amazing store of value. And when you look at Gersham's law and you have the opportunity of spending a $100 bill, which is just a piece of paper, versus $100 worth of Bitcoin, I think most of us know intrinsically, I would rather get rid of the paper. And I think that's what's really happening. It's not so much that people don't want to use Bitcoin or that it's like too difficult, which we'll get to that in a bit. I really just think that in comparison to other methods of payment, you really want to hold on to your Bitcoin. Let me know what you guys think about that, though. I'd like to hear your opinion on that. But Bitcoin's not perfect. It's not perfect. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it is perfect, okay? Scrolling down here, you can look in this article that came out from Sylvain Sorel. I do like his articles a lot. We need to improve the time of confirming transactions. Now, you can pay a little bit extra. I've actually upped the pay, right? And if you're going to move like a couple $1,000s or something, what's an extra $1 or $2 in fees, right? You can speed it up, right? But still 10 minutes, right? It is a little bit long for the average person. You'll support more transactions per second, reducing transaction fees when there's high volume, and better decentralization. So yes, we do have things to work on, and I understand that there's other crypto projects working on them, and I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist by any means, but I do think that Bitcoin kind of pulls the market. It's kind of like the boat that drags all the barnacles across the bottom of the ocean. That's actually Mark Moss's analogy. I don't want to pretend like I came up with that, but you know what I'm saying? And I do think that if Bitcoin was to fail, I think that it would shake the market so hard that it would take an extremely long time for a bounce back. I don't think it'd be like, oh, Bitcoin failed, and then all of a sudden, like, this random altcoin just moons. I think it would be pretty detrimental for the space as a whole moving forward. Obviously, some people would disagree with me on that, but moving on, I have to mention this again. I cannot believe that the Martini guy, he got hit 4 more videos with a strike. Now, this is still ongoing, guys. Oh, and by the way, this is still ongoing while, look, we were watching this video. Look at this right here. Ethereum 2.0 bigger than Bitcoin BC, Ethereum Foundation 7K watching live now. So, guys, these giveaways are pure scams. These are still running rampant on YouTube. And, you guys like Martini guy are getting hit with these things, essentially promoting regulated financial services. He was literally just talking about Bitcoin, but you could see so all these videos broke the terms, all of these, it's crazy, guys. So, definitely give this a retweet if you haven't on Twitter, raise some awareness. It's absolutely crazy. Also, another scam that some people were telling me about, I haven't even looked into this, so I don't know, but honestly, this website just looks crappy. But Cloud 2.0, according to calculations, you can increase your contribution 10 times by the end of 2019. You download their wallet, you put the money in the wallet. Someone reached out to me and said that the money, they were seeing the staking and all that, but then when they went to go do the withdrawal, it didn't work. So I would not suggest checking this out. If you have checked this out and you are using it, are you also having problems with this? Let me know. But for anybody that's watching this for the first time, I wouldn't touch this until you get confirmation from the rest of the people as to what's going on. It looks like that, it looks like you're staking and then you go to take it out and then they won't give you your funds. That's what I'm hearing, okay? Also, in other news, this is a little bit of a interesting story. I didn't know if I even should talk about this, but hey, I just want to kind of bring it up. So you do have, this is the, Holo team, and, this woman right here, Mary Camacho, essentially above me, she's the executive director. Apparently they dug up some stuff where she was involved in some fetish stuff on the internet. I don't really have to go into too much of what this all is, but essentially, I don't know what to really think about this. What people do in their personal time is really up to them. And okay, this wasn't personal, this was public, but it was consensual. I assume that everybody that was in these was consensual about doing it. I don't know. But that's the risk that you take living in a modern day like the internet. Everything's recorded, everything is out there. So yeah, let me know what you got. I personally, would this change my opinion of a project? Not really, particularly. But some people, I don't know. Anyway, just want to bring that up. But check this out. Even more interesting / bizarre. We have the United States House Financial Service Committee has issued a warning after concluding that Nazis and other domestic terrorists are using Bitcoin and crypto to support their activity. Congressman Brad Sherman of California claimed that, I don't even want to say some of these words on the channel, but a certain group of people, were using Bitcoin. He says if it works for these guys, it's probably going to work for these guys. I'm sure you guys can. With all this demonetization, I just don't even want to say these things. But Jared Maples, the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness Director, said that domestic terrorist groups would likely increase their use of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in the years to come. But that's kind of like just saying everyone's going to increase their exposure to Bitcoin in the years to come. We already know the dollar is the number one used currency for all money laundering and most terrorist activities. So I'm not surprised they would also use Bitcoin, but also let's be realistic. Bitcoin is not private yet, okay? So really, if you're trying to do illegal things with Bitcoin, don't do illegal things with Bitcoin. So you shouldn't do illegal things anyway. But that being said, guys, I want to end on something kind of friendly, something fun. The Daily Hodl put out a study. Who Are You? Study reveals deep traits of the average crypto user is a male, is millennial, and is motivated. Now, I have noticed that recently we have had more women entering the crypto space. I've noticed my female to male ratio actually going up for females. So I do see you out there, ladies. But currently right now it is very male dominated. And they do have some statistics down here. What do most crypto users do? The majority of them are either lawyers, accountants, or economists. What do they usually spend their cryptos on? You can see the highest amount is restaurants, hotels, then followed by supermarket and grocery stores. And this was all done by data from Together. And you can see what they mostly use, which is interestingly enough, Bitcoin Cash. So, No, it's Bitcoin. I'm sorry. I read this completely wrong. I thought, okay, sorry guys, I read the chart wrong. 51%. So yeah, Bitcoin is still the most used if you're going to use it. But that being said, guys, having a look right here, we are still hovering around this area. Like I said, we could have a little bit of a retest of some of these lower levels, even go back to there's a lot of support around the 7, where's the VPVR at? I gotta pull it up right here. There's a lot of support right here around the 7.2K level. So that is possible. Although, I wouldn't really want to fall directly down into it because then that would put us back inside the descending wedge, which kind of invalidates this whole move. So you really don't want to see that. Over time, if we kind of had a slump down to it and then sort of touched it sometime around February and then had another bounce, that would be a little healthier. A straight drop would not. But I think that's enough for me today, guys. That's it for me. It is Sunday. Hope you guys have enjoyed your weekend. I know I did take the day off yesterday. I've been incredibly busy in the background. And also, really, there wasn't much to say. I felt basically the same way I did. You can see right here. We were talking about being rejected right here from the 200 daily. So, yeah. So that's basically the same, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I hope you are enjoying your weekend. I hope you are accumulating. Not financial advice, but you know what I'm doing. And if you're looking for the ledger, we are giving that away tomorrow. Drop a comment. So thanks again. Get subscribed if you haven't. Join the Telegram group. It's absolutely free. That's it for me today, guys. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.